Hello there. So, I've gone ahead and I've done some research. I've done some studying, as some say. And I've been rewatching a lot of stuff in Star Wars, and I've been a fan of Star Wars when I was a wee lad. I took a long break due to growing up, unfortunately. But we're back in the Star Wars grind, okay? And over the past, I'd say 3 years, I've been on and off with Star Wars, but I've gone ahead and I've rewatched the Clone Wars, of course, one of the best shows ever made, which I'll show you my sort of background into how I rank things and the current things I've watched and the current things I will have ranked. I've done a tier list in the past. This is, I guess, an updated version. If you're a little newer around the channel, I do Star Wars content, but I mainly do, like, pretty much anything I'm passionate on. Recently, it's been UFC. Throw a little bit of Killing Floor in there. You know what it is. We keep it very passionate on this channel, so if you feel like hitting that subscribe button, sticking around, hit that notification bell. Shameless plug over. But, with that being said, I have watched 2 Star Wars medias now. Like newer medias, I guess, for me. Alright, I'm a little bit of a young blood when it comes to catching up. You know, when I left the Star Wars base, there was only episodes 1 through 6 in the Clone Wars, okay? So, I haven't watched Ahsoka, I haven't watched stuff like that, and here is my current tier list. Let me just do that, get my camera down there just for the people. Yeah, this is my current tier list of the things I've watched. Just for a background, I'm gonna be going over, the title's probably gonna say it, but I'm gonna be going over Solo, and then immediately after I'll be going over Skeleton Crew, and I'll probably upload a video there. But I did just finish watching the Solo movie. It was like yesterday or the day before, something like that, and I'll say this, I mean, you can see my tier list. I have Clone Wars in S tier GOAT. To me, that will be one of the best shows of all time, uncontested. Yeah, it has some bad arcs. Overall, I'd say 99% of it's fucking amazing, top tier, S tier, go to just battle, fucking pretty good plot lines. Darth Maul is like my favorite fucking character in Star Wars. Call me an NPC. Hey, I'll wear it on my chest, baby. But yeah, and then I have Revenge of the Sith as the best movie of all time. So that's why you see 2 in GOAT. For me, you gotta have your show that's the GOAT and the movie that's the GOAT. And for me, Revenge of the Sith, oh, just chef's kiss at every single fighting sequence. You had General Grievous, you had the death of the General Grievous, you had Uda. Like, bro, there's just so much going on there. You had fucking live action Phase 2 clones. Like, come on, bruh. You know, like, it's just, oh, it's so fucking good. But yeah, and then the Clone Wars, obviously. But, and then we have Return of the Jedi. Thought this movie, great. Jabba Sail Barge, one of my favorite vehicles, I guess? Ships? Vehicles, I guess we'll call it. But, yeah, there's a lot. Like, I love Jabba the Hutt. I love the Hutts. I love bounty hunter related things. Yeah, I thought Return of the Jedi was dope as fuck. What else is there? Oh yeah, Empire Strike Back. Like, all of these, this is like 7 out of 10. I'd rate this like 7 to like a 9 in this range. So like Empire Strike Back, probably like a 9 out of 10, you know? Probably, oh, well, no, probably an 8 out of 10, because 9 out of 10 is like perfection for me. No, I'm gonna keep it there. Phantom Menace, I just have a bias because I like Darth Maul. I don't care he was only there for about 15 minutes of screen time, okay? Dope as fuck, alright? Just aura. Oozes aura. Bro, watching the Clone Wars again and watching Season 5, god damn, he just oozes aura. Oh my god, takes Mandalore. Bro, him just, in Season 4, him just being thought of coming back has the whole Jedi fucking in array, okay? Anyways, it's enough of my king that I speak of, but yeah. Phantom Menace is, yeah, a little bit biased there. Qui-Gon Jinn's dope. Of course, it has the goofiness with, like, the Qui-Gon and fucking Obi-Wan using, super speed. Like, they just embrace fucking sonic speed, and they just zoom past the droids in the first opening sequences with the banking clan. And then there's just some goofy bits with Jar Jar Binks, but outside of those moments, there's not really any crazy, terrible things. You had Watto, you know, only money, Jedi, you know, some good moments there. And then you had episode 2. I think episode 2 gets a lot of hate from my understanding. A lot of people think it was very boring. I get why people think it's boring, but I always thought, like, the assassin. I get it's like someone's being ordered to kill someone, so they hire someone who hires someone who uses bugs to then kind of get hired to go do the thing. I get that, but I always thought it was cool. I thought Zam Wessel was cool. I thought the Camino plot point was cool. I'm a big fan of the chips, so that's kind of where I rank those. New Hope is what this is. Actually, no. Yeah. New Hope, I actually thought was pretty good. But it is like, it's the oldest, and it's probably the most one that looks more like milk. Like, a lot of the costumes don't really look that good in A New Hope. And I get the other ones are close, but like Return of the Jedi is just like, come on, bruh. You know, you had the Darth Vader father moment. You even had that in Empire Strikes Back. You know, you had the Cloud City moments. Like, there's so many goated things about those movies. Where like A New Hope, it's the intro to them, but the intro, other than the Tanith hallway scene, and like the memes of Greedo shooting, like them getting on the Death Star and everything, I'm just not like, kind of like a boring plot point for me personally. I get it's cool getting on the Death Star and everything, but I'm not that interested. Obi-Wan dueling with Darth Vader. Now, once you've watched all the content and then you see A New Hope, I actually think it's probably like a little bit better. And if I was to rewatch it, I watched it probably a couple months ago, but I don't really rate it that high yet. But yeah, and then we have Rogue One. Rogue One's pretty good. I think it's probably, I believe this is when Disney owned it. Rogue One's like what, 2018, I want to say. Let's find out together. Okay, Rogue One launch day. When was this? 2016. I was gonna say 17, but okay, so 2016. I think that was the first thing Disney made, right? Or it was like right after Force Awakens, something like that. I thought it was pretty good. Didn't like the ending because the characters died, but like, I mean, it's unique in that fashion. So even though I don't like it, it still gets points for being unique. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I rank things. I like uniqueness. I like fight scenes, and I like fucking war. Okay. And that's where we're gonna get to the updated stuff. Like Rebels. Maybe I gotta rewatch it. I don't have fond memories of Rebels. I watched this back in like 2022. I was not a fan of like any of the characters. Didn't really like Ezra. Didn't really like Chopper. Hera was Zeb was Sabine was fucking annoying. And Kanan Jarrus, I just thought like lived through plot armor every time he got into combat. I just thought like, it's whatever. You know, it's not my cup of tea. I'm a Clone Wars guy. Clone Wars movie's pretty good, in my opinion, but like, it has aged pretty bad. Like, plot point wise, I don't mind it. Ahsoka getting her first like debut, I guess, and then having those like, I don't know what those droids were called, but the guys with like generators for heads or some shit, and they come out the ground. You know, you had Anakin find Rod of the Hutt. You had Ventress. Like, there's a lot of good moments in the movie. Was that Ventress? No, I think I'm thinking of a different arc. I think that's just Dooku taking the Magna droids to fight Anakin. I think that's what it was. But yeah, I didn't mind the movie. I thought the movie was pretty good. A lot of people don't like the movie. I like it. I have fond memories. I remember being in the car and we having one of those really old fucking build your own fucking TVs in the back. And it'd play CDs. I know a lot of you youngsters might not know what a CD is. But it was this little disc you put into a slot, and then it would play movies on the screen. So yeah, that was like my childhood. That's the type of shit we had when we were going on camping trips and shit like that. I'd be watching this show 10 times out of 10, or the movie. So I enjoyed it. And then the sequels are absolutely atrocious. I genuinely think episode 10, which apparently is rumored to be in the works. I've heard there's some script issues. Might still be in the works, might still not be in the works, who knows. But yeah, episode 7, Force Awakens, is dog shit. After the first 10 minutes, I lost all my interest. They shit on all the old characters. They kill Han Solo to try to get the exact same moment between Luke and Darth Vader. But they fucked it up because they killed Han Solo. And they just made it shit. Kylo Ren kills Han Solo for no reason because he turns good later. So his father's death means absolutely nothing to Kylo Ren, apparently. What else was there? Was that the one where they killed Snoke? No, I think the next one was the one where they killed Snoke. And I watched this all, I want to say the end of last year. It's on my YouTube channel. You can see the reviews there. Pretty dog shit. Just everywhere. The lightsaber fights were terrible. It literally felt like they were trying to cuck you every single time you were watching, like, another character. Like, when they had Rey off screen, if they made the show and it was just about Rey and her journey, and they perfected her journey, I wouldn't fucking mind it, okay? But the problem is that every time we saw Finn, they're trying to hint that he's a Jedi. You know, Kylo Ren noticing him in the pack out of everyone, you know, and just, you know, staring at him for a long time. Phasma noticing something off with him, you know? Him being able to escape the fucking ship and no one really caring, even though he's not supposed to be escorting a fucking prisoner, I assume, unless Kylo Ren says. And then there's just a bunch of other moments, but yeah, them just, like, giving Finn a lightsaber, making him shit with the lightsaber, bro. Han Solo, like, shit. I don't need to say how shit this fucking film is. Every character in it is terrible. Every plot point was terrible. The fact that Rey knows how to build, like, fix the Millennium Falcon better or equal to Han Solo, despite Han Solo literally... Oh, anyways, I could rant for hours on these films, but they're all dog shit. These are all in order. I genuinely think, what is this, Rise of Skywalker is, or is this one? That one's the Rise of Skywalker, I think. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this makes sense. Rise of Skywalker, I genuinely think, is one of the worst films of all time. Genuinely. One of the worst films of all time. So I don't like cringe. I don't like a lot of humor. All the time with zero seriousness. And I don't like forced characters trying to put their agenda on my Star Wars, okay? I like the Star Wars to be about war, about galaxy. Throw some politics in there to make some of the fucking banking clan lore to make sense. I don't care. I just want to watch fucking mayhem go on, you know? And Solo, which is the movie we're going to be discussing here, about 12 minutes into this video, I thought was pretty fucking good. I thought it was pretty good. Now, I don't think it's... I'd put it above Rebels. You know what? If you're asking me what I enjoyed more... So, okay, again, I don't have nostalgia for Solo. I think it came out, I want to say, this one I want to say 2018, right? Solo launch day. Day. Right? Solo Star Wars. 2018? Yeah, 2018. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, so it came after Rogue One, and it's a little bit stepped down from Rogue One, but I don't think it's like dog shit. The Mud Trooper arc was like, their transitions were terrible. Every time they had a transition where they were like, Han Solo signs up to the military, and then they just jump him into the mud zone, and everything's smoke. It felt pretty lazy, and it felt pretty low budget. Don't know the budget, but it felt like a low budget film for the first, I want to say like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, until the end of the Mud Trooper arc, I guess. But first little bit I thought was a Han Solo movie, in my opinion, has to have comedy, because that's the sort of character Han Solo is. So I was expecting a lot of forced humor, and there was a little bit of that with the guy named Rio. I want to say the guy with 4 arms, that blue guy, who flies one of the haulers trying to pick up the train on the hijack. There's a little too many jokes. Like, it felt like every line of dialogue, like every 3 lines of dialogue, they had to crack a joke. But outside of that, nothing really that bad. You know, like, this is maybe like a Thor, Guns, what is that? Thor, Love and Thunder, something like that. I never watched that, but the criticism I always heard was like, it had way too many jokes. It's probably something like that. Felt very Marvel-esque, which I'm pretty sure Disney owns Marvel and fucking Star Wars, so it kind of makes sense. But it kind of did have a little too much humor. I thought Han Solo overall was portrayed pretty well. He almost always fucks up a job, but he almost always has like a unique plan. or like a plan to do something. It's just the plan never really goes fully in. The what is it called? The something run, the Kestis run, the what is it called? Cal I don't fucking know. The run they do with the Falcon and 12 parsecs, as Han Solo says. You know, that was alright. Tobias Beckett, also pretty aight character. You know, there's a lot of like A-list celebrity actors here. I kind of I was a little like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about just having a bunch of really high level actors here. It felt very Borderlands movie-esque, and if you watch that, ooh, God have fucking mercy on your soul. Okay, that movie was that's like number 2 all time worst films. But I was a little worried with that. Kind of ended up redeeming itself. I thought Childish Gambino, he played a really good Lando. Lando was great. Sabak, Han Solo gambling, I thought all that part was great. That droid was terrible. Don't remember the name. Don't want to remember that name. That droid who was like fighting for Revolution. I'm so glad she fucking died. Terrible character. Please, Star Wars, never do that again. Droids should not be fighting for human rights. It's Star Wars. They're a fucking droid. Really gonna let this clanka try to fight for rights? Come on now. Anyways, by the way, that's not like a race. I'm not gonna explain myself. Okay, true Star Wars OGs know what a clanka is. Anyways, but yeah, Solo, it was all right. You know, the creatures in it I thought were like unique and were like very Star Wars-esque. The planets they were on were fine. I didn't like the Pike sort of arc where they were getting the unrefined hyper fuel, whatever it's called. Was not a fan of that. Was not a fan of like that whole arc. It felt like the planet was very shit, and it just felt like a weird planet to revolve around the story on. There was some okay plot twists. The lady being on that expensive ship with Ty something. I don't fucking remember. The guy with scars on his face with the blades. Maul having aura as always. Hey, maybe that's just the Maul effect, baby. Okay, maybe the Maul effect gets you out of being okay, well, to be fair, Rebels is here. By the way, just real quick, the Rebels Maul arc, it did have a good conclusion. I didn't like the build-up. I felt like Maul wasn't like who Maul was. I don't know. You know, maybe we gotta wait for the Maul show. But I felt like that wasn't my Maul. Hashtag not my Maul in Rebels. Just saying. But yeah, I just felt like Solo was... Where did it go? Here it is. Solo, it was like alright. Like it had a lot of alright moments. It didn't do anything bad. It didn't do anything great. Well, it did have some things bad. The droid rebellion I thought was fucking stupid. Chewbacca though was aight. Like Chewbacca on a Han meeting, that was cool. The dice makes a little bit more sense. And I'm fine with like the dice being Han Solo's trinket that he carries around with him for luck. Makes sense. And yeah, the betrayal's going on, sick. Yeah, I thought it was like alright, you know? The good parts that it did have sort of outweighed the forced droid for human rights. Cause he wants to fuck Lando. Or she? I don't fucking care. The droid wanted to fuck Lando. Yeah, not a good point to put in your fucking movie, okay? But yeah, that's just my take. I think it's a little bit better than I think it's good. I think it's good because it doesn't do anything that bad, you know? When I look at, like, the sequels, all of them are dog shit. All of them. All of them. Everything about them. All of them. The dialogue, the combat, the designs of the ships, they're all right, but most of the time they're just like shitty versions of what we already have. Yeah, just all of them, dog shit. We're like Solo, at least like I could see that on a TV and be fine with it on a TV watching it while I wait for my dentist appointment or something like that, you know? Where like if I saw this on the TV screen, I'm putting in the earbuds, I'm fucking loading up some Spotify, YouTube music type shit, you know? I'm not paying attention to whatever's going on. But yeah, that's my take on the Solo movie. I thought it was pretty alright. I thought all the plot points were okay. I thought the designs of the ship, because it's set I believe timeline-wise, it's set, like, pretty much right when the Empire's taking over, because it's a young Han Solo. So I want to say very, very early Empire. They only had, like, a few stormtroopers. I want to say they had, like, one or two stormtroopers in the whole movie, and it was at the very beginning. So I think it's, like, an alright, unique take on the series to have a bounty hunter story. A lot better than like Star Wars Outlaws, like the game or whatever. Like I'd watch Solo over watching the cutscenes of Outlaws. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't mind Solo. I think it's I no nostalgia at all. I like Han Solo's all right. I don't think he's like one of my favorite characters or anything. Chewbacca's not one of my favorite characters. I do like the Wookiees. I'm a Wookiee lover. All right. But, you know, but yeah, I mean, I just think it's all right. I don't think it's like that bad, you know? I think it kind of gets a lot of hate. I think every time I've heard someone bring up Solo, they're like, it's boring as shit. It has moments, you know? It has moments. And that's kind of like all you really need to set yourself apart from, you know, a shitty pack like what Disney's been doing. But I haven't watched the rest of the shows, so you might notice there's no Ahsoka, there's no, what's it called? There's no Ahsoka. There's no Andor. There's no Mando, even though Mando's here. I haven't finished it yet. I'm on episode 2. I rewatched it like a while ago. I found season 1 to be boring and I just never went back. But I don't remember anything from season 1, so I'm going back and rewatching it. I think like 3 years later or something like that. So I'm rewatching it. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'll do Skeleton Crew next, probably right after this video, but the upload is probably going to be a little while, so, and by a little while, a couple days, maybe. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, that's been my review of the Solo movie. I think it's alright, I think it shapes up with the rest of the stuff. This is how I rank all the stuff I've watched so far as a Star Wars fan. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end, I want to thank you for watching, and as always, I hope you have a good day.